All right, guys, today we are going to write our essay for To Kill a Mockingbird. And before you do that, I want to go ahead and walk you through the prompt. I have a technique that I used that is basically pulling apart the prompt. If you've never done that before, it's a really great tool that you can use on any essay in any class to help yourself better realize what you're supposed to do, because sometimes our prompts are so long that we just forget and we get confused and we get lazy. And so to pull apart the prompt, what I'm going to do is after I read this, I'm going to go back through and find all of the verbs in the prompt. So here is the prompt for the essay that you're writing today. Through words and actions, a character can come to life for the reader. In Harper Lee's novel, To Kill a Mockingbird, the author draws a vivid picture of the character of Atticus Finch as he responds to conflict. In a well-developed, multi-paragraphed essay, and here is where your prompt begins. Discuss how the character of Atticus reveals Lee's ideas about social justice. Support your claim with specific evidence from the text. So, if I were to draw a T-chart, and up here at the top, I'm going to put, this is what I call a do what chart. I'm going to put do. So what are we going to do? And over here, I'm going to put the word what. What are we doing? And then what are we going to do? Sorry, I probably said that backwards. All right. From the point where I told you the prompt begins, which is here and here, we want to look for our verbs. In a well-developed multi-paragraph essay, discuss. That is something that we do. So underline that. How the character of Atticus reveals, underline that, Lee's ideas about social justice. Support your claim with specific evidence. So I'm going to write those three words right down here. Those are the verbs, the do words. Discuss, reveal, support. Then over here, what are we going to discuss? How the character, we're going to discuss the character of Atticus. What are we going to reveal? Well, we're going to hopefully explain how Atticus reveals Lee's ideas. So reveal how the characterization of Atticus reveals I'm going to use the word shows Lee's ideas about okay. And then I'm going to make that up a little bit so you don't get confused. And then support. What are we supporting? Our claim with text evidence. By claim, I mean opinion. Okay, so my opinion, I'll put that there too. Okay. All right, so you have to make sure that these three things are checked off. You've done these three, and when you finish your essay, did you discuss the character of Atticus? You better have. That's usually the one everybody gets. This reveal is the one that over the past 3 years, people just don't get to. You just don't think it's important enough to do it. Well, that's part of what I'm grading you on. Not only do we want to relate Atticus to Harper Lee and how she wrote him how she did, but we want to relate Atticus to society, and we want to be able to see the reflection of Atticus in our society or the lack thereof. Okay, and the way we see that is by you giving me your assertion and your opinion, and you supporting it with text evidence. The text evidence part is going to be the easy part. You've already done that on your dialectical journals. So, a couple of things that you want to ponder. Because we are relating, we've talked about him being a hero. So if he is indeed a hero, then you're going to focus on the positive attributes of Atticus. If you feel like he does reveal the character or Lee's ideas on social justice, which we know she's against racism because that's a quote we read of her in an article, then does Atticus support that by his actions? I mean, the majority of you have said yes the whole time we've been reading the book, okay? And then what is social justice and how is it shown, or even is it shown in through Atticus? Okay? Just Google it, social justice. Justice in terms of the distribution of wealth, opportunities, and privileges within a society. Basically, if you have social justice, then everybody has the opportunity to achieve wealth, opportunities, and have privileges. What we're dealing with in our society and what Atticus dealt with in his society is social injustice, and Harper Lee did also. Okay, so you need to understand the difference in those two. All right, and then what are Harper Lee's ideas about social justice? Well, we know that she was against a racist society. How do we know that? Because we studied it. Like that's literally part of the stuff that we studied beforehand in the background info. And so because she was against that, what she wanted to do was she knew she didn't know how to fight this. She didn't know how to fight racism and inequality in her society. And so her response to racism and inequality in her society was to write a book to bring awareness to it. How do we know that? She said it. Okay. So these are very easy things. You need to be able to include these into your essay. All right. Now, if we are looking at how your essay is going to be lined out, let me get to a new doc. All right. At the top, you're going to include the important information, your name, your class, it's honors, the date. Can't spell today. And then you're going to include your title. Title is going to be in the center, and this is the To Kill a Mockingbird essay. And that will be in, the title is going to be in bold because it is a book. All right. Now, one big thing I have not done is your entire document needs to be double spaced. So you can do this before or after, and it doesn't matter to me. But you're going to highlight everything if you do it beforehand, and you'll go to double right there. Okay. As you start typing your essay, it's going to be justified to the left. So you have to go up here and change this to left align. All right. And I'm not going to type the essay exactly. I'm going to outline it for you. Okay. I do not want all these numbers and things on your paper. All right. The very first paragraph is going to be an intro, followed by 3 AEC, EC paragraphs. Those are the body paragraphs you're going to pull from your dialectical journal. And then followed by a closing paragraph. All right, your intro paragraph. Let me see if I can split my screen here. Lord, what am I doing? I don't know how to split my screen. Your intro paragraph should include some of the words of the prompt, okay? And so you could actually take this sentence right here and use it in your paragraph. Yes, I'm okay with you doing that, okay? So if you did that, let me change the text, the type of it. Also, your font is Arial 11. That's it. You can't do anything different with it, nothing cutesy, and it's black, and it is what it is. In Harper Lee's novel, To Kill a Mockingbird, the author draws a vivid picture of the character of Atticus Finch as he responds to conflict. Go ahead and bold that. All right, we're going to continue that in the opening paragraph, and this is where you're going to add now, like Harper Lee, and you don't need to say Harper Lee again, you could just use her last name. Lee characterizes Atticus Finch in many ways. However, A few of the more noticeable traits of Atticus are colon. Right, now you can use any of this that I'm using, and this is where you're going to list out 3 traits from your dialectical journal, like all those lists that we wrote on the board and things like that. Okay. Now, very important. This is the point where some people are going to be like, in this essay, no way, Jose. We are not writing any of these words like that. Do not say, in my essay, I'm writing this essay. In class, I've read this book. We are reading a book. I think, I believe, I like. No way. Don't use any of that. This is your essay, and as such, I already know all of those things. All those statements are assumed, and so you don't have to write any of it out. So please, please, please don't use the word I in an essay. Don't use the word my in an essay. Don't use the word we in an essay. Any type of first person narrative you don't need. This is your essay, friends. You already have ownership of it. Like, that's understood by the reader, who is me. Please don't write those things, okay? I already also know you're reading the book To Kill a Mockingbird, so you don't need to use the quote, in class, we have been reading To Kill a Mockingbird. Well, I'm reading it with y'all. I already know that. You don't need to tell me that, okay? So please, 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 be careful with those phrases, especially first person phrases. So we don't want that at all. That's going to make your score go down on your grammar category, okay? So here's where you'll continue with your opening paragraph. Now, it is indented. Oh, not like that. My bad. And so you'll continue writing something here. You don't need a quote in your opening paragraph unless you're going to use it as your hook. And that's up to you. That's personal preference. All right. When you move on to the second paragraph, you're going to begin with the assertion. Now, a very basic assertion is Atticus is, and then fill in your blank. Is it a sentence? Yes, it's a sentence. Is it compound complex? No, it's not. Is it what's on your dialectical journal? For most of you, yes. That's okay. If that's all you can give me, like, that's okay. That's going to get you a good, solid score. Is it going to get you a great score? No. Okay. Because your assertion is just Atticus is. There's no transition words at the beginning. There is no leading into anything else. It's just a very fragmented sentence. So, my suggestion to you is to lead into Atticus is whatever your assertion is. Okay. So, one easy way to do that is in the book, Harper Lee writes Atticus as, then put your characteristic, like independent. Okay. And then you're going to follow with your evidence. Now, your evidence comes next. And remember, there can be no standalone quotes. Do it. If I wrote on your dialectical journal that you had a standalone quote, please don't use it. Like, ask a friend, text me on Remind, send me an email, like, send up smoke signals. Please don't write a standalone quote for this. Gosh, don't do it. Okay, this is too important for the grade for you to mess it up by writing a standalone quote. You just don't do it. Okay, if you don't know what a standalone quote is, text me on Remind. I'll help you out. Like, I'm not too busy to stop and do that. Okay. After your evidence, you're going to go to your commentary. Now, some of you are saying, well, where's the context? Well, remember back a few weeks ago, we started moving the context into introducing the evidence, the text evidence. So your context is now going to be moved to like right here, but in the same sentence. Okay. After the commentary, you're going to include yet another example of evidence that Atticus is whatever you say he is. Now, this is where some of you struggle with because you may not have pulled enough of a quote to split it up into two, or you may have to go back into your notes and figure out and find another quote. Okay, so you must have more evidence and additional commentary. You're going to do the same thing again. Same thing here. And then you're going to write your conclusion, your closing paragraph. I'll be honest, the conclusion is not a big part of the grade, basically because we haven't really done much with it yet. Eventually, towards the end of the semester, it will be worth more points. But the conclusion, you're just going to restate what you've already stated, but in different words. 3 sentences, 4 sentences. Shouldn't have a quote in there. Remember, no I, no first person, none of that. Okay. When you're done with that, you see how mine has gone back to not being double spaced. You want to make sure that it's highlighted and change it to double spaced. Okay, that is the correct MLA format now. Make sure your citations are there. Let me just be honest with you. A lot of people don't read their essay before they turn it in, and so they miss a bunch of grammatical errors. I would literally read it out loud. I'm that person. Like, if I got to go out in the hallway and read it, I'm gonna go in the hallway. Or if I'm gonna sit here and read like this, that's me. I will catch my mistakes like that when I won't if they're just written. So please make sure that you double check that. If there are any words that are underlined in red, there's a reason for that. Like if I misspelled novel, it's now underlined in red. I can click on that and then it'll just fix it for me. Amazing, right? And sometimes it may underline or in red like Atticus's name or somebody's name. But just ignore those. And there's a spot where you can click ignore where it doesn't do that anymore. But you shouldn't have any red underlines unless it's in the name. Okay. On that point, make sure you capitalize common or proper nouns. Make sure you capitalize beginnings of sentences. Make sure you have correct punctuation. Just do it all. Y'all are fabulous students. I know that you can do this. This should be 5 paragraphs and it's going to be done when you leave class. Don't open it back up. Don't mess with it. Just be done with it. It's timed writing. You opening it back up and trying to work on it some more is not going to do anything to help your grade. Just let it go. When you walk out my door, let it go. Okay, I'll grade what you got. It's on a sliding scale. Since this is our first essay, it's a pretty lenient essay grade. Every time you write another essay, it gets a little bit more strict. So you're good. If you have questions and no one in class knows the answer, feel free to text me and remind. Feel free to email me. I'll be available. I'm just not at school today. My kid's got a doctor's appointment. So I'm happy to help. I just am not there with you to write this. Okay? All right. Good luck, guys.